Hello, Gary Hines here for Career Strategy Forum. I'm coming to you on what is today? September the 7th, 2025. And I am taking a new direction here on the lessons that I'll be providing you. And what I'm doing is moving away from the preparation aspect of my practice and moving a little bit more into just career management, things that we should be doing in our career. So I have about 12 topics that I want to talk about. I'm not going to cover them all today, obviously, but they're all things around career management and strategy. So that's what we're going to be doing starting today. And today's topic is going to be on professionalism in the workplace. I'm going to talk about that extensively. And I just wanted to mention that these upcoming topics may actually run past 30 minutes. You know what I'd like to cover. So I may end up doing two parters on some of these. So just stay tuned. We'll see how we do today. If I have to do a second part, I'll do a second part, but I'll keep track of the time, obviously. Okay. So let us get started here. And again, I want to talk about this professionalism, but before I go any further, you can always hear me on the second and fourth Saturday of every month at WGGT LP, which is the call letters for the radio station 92.9 FM in Philadelphia. But you can listen to this any broadcast on that radio station anywhere around the world at gtownradio.com. So just so you know, I am broadcasting twice a month, and then the I save those files and shows in Spotify for creators. So if you're looking for past shows that I started back in January of this year, you can find them at Spotify for creators, and that's where they are. So anyway, and this one will be there too once I edit it and get it together. Okay, so let us go and get started on this. So I want to talk about the goal of what my workshop is today. It's about learning the importance of your personal brand, cultivating a polished and professional image through proper attire, grooming, and body language. Develop a thorough understanding of professional communication, including written correspondence, emails, and phone etiquette. Acquire the skills to navigate social situations with grace and professionalism, including while networking, and enhance interpersonal skills by practicing effective listening, feedback, and conflict resolution. All right. So that is one of the things we're going to get started on. And again, professionalism is so critical today. And some things that you should think about are, understanding yourself first before you are in an environment where you're dealing with other people. Make sure you understand your needs, your thoughts, your wants and desires, just so you can better understand your personal values, things like that. So, one of the very first lesson in career strategy forum that I did back in January was on self assessments. So think about taking a couple of self assessments, and if you don't know what I mean by that, certainly go back to the beginning, and you can hear and see all the things I talked about with assessments. Okay, so professionalism in the workplace does not mean wearing a suit or carrying a briefcase. It means conducting oneself with responsibility, integrity, accountability, and excellence. It means communicating effectively. It means communicating effectively and appropriately, and always finding a way to be productive. And even, when you hear this term being productive, even when there is nothing to do, find something to do. The last thing you want to do on a job is kind of be sitting idle when other people are working. Ask them if they need assistance, things like that. We'll talk about that a little more in a bit. But I want to read a couple of things to you that are important. According to employers, attitude issues were the number one reason they fired an employee, with 57% citing it as a catalyst, with personality and performance issues following at 41% and 40% respectively. Employees lacking in productivity or making lousy decisions are often the first to go. Becoming overly involved in office politics and inadequate time management skills can also cause concern among managers. So again, you want to think about that if you know um, why people get fired in this day and age. All right. So moving into image and professional image and personal brand. Image is like acting. Jobs are like theater. Many times we have to act the part in a job. There could be things that we don't totally agree with, but we need the job. So we need to act professionally as opposed to complaining. Now, of course, if it affects your performance, or excuse me, affects you in any other way, you can certainly have a conversation about that. But, to stomp around and complain constantly does not present you in a good light. So I would say think twice about that. But be authentically you. Embrace your authentic core self and let go of any pressures to conform to being someone else. Now, I know that's kind of contradictory to what I just said, but I want you to remember you do have to keep who you are within your soul. But again, you have to pick and choose when you're going to discuss things, when you're going to express opinions and things like that. So just be mindful of that. Be consistent. Remain consistent in your actions, values, principles, methods, measures, expectations, and decisions. And have confidence. Even if you must fake it until it becomes a reality, do what you must to always project a positive image of yourself. So, just like I said earlier, um, being professional sometimes is like acting, like a screen actor or a stage actor. You have to sometimes fake it until you get it together and get your footing into a particular place. So just keep that in mind. And when I say authentic, being authentically you, try to be something you're not can be mentally exhausting. Being trying to be something you're not can be mentally exhausting. So be yourself and don't try to be something else. Besides, most people can spot someone being fake from a mile away. All right, so that's just one piece of it. And being consistent. In today's fast paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and forget that our actions can have a significant impact on our personal brand and professional image. Give you a quick example. Some things like posting negative comments online, getting very political or religious or sexual online is something that you want to think about going forward about who you are and the presentation you give to the world. The key to maintaining a positive professional image is not to avoid making mistakes, but to handle them in the right way. How you handle a mistake can often be more important than the mistake itself. So certainly keep that in mind. Having confidence. Um, Confidence is a key ingredient to success, both personally and professionally. When you are confident in yourself and your abilities, you are more likely to take risks, pursue your goals, and overcome obstacles. However, confidence is not always easy to come by, and it's natural to experience moments of self doubt. So, again, we could do a whole topic on confidence and how you raise your confidence. But let's get back to tips for creating a professional brand. So you want to accept and overcome setbacks. When you handle setbacks with grace and resilience, you demonstrate your leadership qualities and earn the respect and admiration of those around you. Have a positive impact on others. If you want to see your personal brand grow quickly, strive to positively impact and influence others. Okay, and also follow the examples of others. Remain consistent in your actions, values, principles, methods, measures, expectations, and decisions. So, again, when I say accept and overcome setbacks, as mentioned previously, mistakes and setbacks are an inevitable part of life. No matter how hard you try, you will encounter obstacles and challenges that test your resilience and determination. However, it's important to remember these setbacks are not the end of the world, but rather an opportunity to learn and grow. All right. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking on that. Um Tips for creating again this image: don't boast. Professional branding is most effective when you allow others to do the talking for you. Know your mission and vision. And yes, you should all have a mission and vision. That's not just for companies to have, it's also personally, you should have a mission and vision. When you have a clear sense of purpose and direction, you are better equipped to inspire and motivate others, make strategic decisions, and achieve your goals. Tell your story. Don't be afraid to tell others your story, which makes you more relatable and interesting to others. But one thing you want to certainly be mindful of is to not boast. Don't boast. Personal branding is an important aspect of building your professional reputation and advancing your career. However, many people make the mistake of thinking that promoting their image means constantly telling others how great they are. This approach can actually have the opposite effect, alienating people and making it difficult for people to believe in your abilities. So remember, don't boast. Okay, having a positive impact on others. The best way to build your personal brand is through others. If you can have a personal impact on others' lives, they will let others know about it. When other people promote you, it is way more relatable than when you try to promote yourself. All right, so remember that. And follow the example of others. Look at others in your industry that have made a name for themselves. These people are great to base your efforts on. Think about how they made a name for themselves. Is it something that you could reproduce in your own life? And by the way, folks, I am reading from some scripts, so just understand that I don't want to miss anything, with the time constraint. So I am reading. Okay, always act like someone is watching you. Ensure that your personal life complements, not contradicts your professional one. I just mentioned earlier about posting online. Give everything 100%. Giving 100% to everything you do not only helps you build momentum and achieve goals more quickly, but strengthens your personal brand in the process. And also, set up some goals. They don't have to necessarily be smart goals, but they could be. And if you know what smart goals are, that means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time, and time bound, right? So that's what the SMART acronym stands for. Again, when I say always act like someone is watching you, try to do the right thing and act professionally even when you think nobody is looking. Don't cut corners or break rules just because you think no one will ever find out. You never know when this will come back to bite you in the butt. Okay? Give everything 100%, like I mentioned. Giving your all to everything you do is a surefire way to build a strong reputation as a hard worker and reliable individual. When people see that you constantly put in your best effort, they will come to see you as someone who can be counted on to deliver good results. All right. And as I mentioned about knowing your mission and vision, a strong mission and vision are essential components of effective leadership. When you have a clear sense of purpose and direction, you are better equipped to inspire and motivate others, make strategic decisions, and achieve your goals. Okay? And when I talk about telling your story but not bragging, while bragging is one thing, sharing your story is another. Telling your story is not boasting if done correctly. Don't hesitate to tell people who you are and what makes you you, where you came from, how you became the person you are, what motivates you, and why you do the things the way you do the things you do. All right, so that's your story. Again, it's very relatable. People can understand it. It's very helpful. Okay, let us talk now too about using. We talked about smart goals, so we're not really going to go through smart goals, but let's talk about workplace etiquette for employees. So I have a nice chart. I can't unfortunately show you here. Um, I'm still learning Riverside a lot, so I'm not going to be able to do screen posts at this point. But anyway, here's some key pieces around workplace etiquette. Dress appropriately. That's pretty critical. Take responsibility. Use your mobile phone wisely. Socialize with your peers. Keep your workplace clean. Respect um, other people's time, and be mindful of your words, and also respect personal space. So, again, all of these things are good to help you understand workplace etiquette. It's the way we carry ourselves while conducting business, such as respectable language, appropriate attire, and proper conduct. Concerning workplace etiquette, it's important to both look at the part and the play and then play the part. Okay. A crucial component of professionalism is workplace etiquette. It contributes to the development of a courteous and upbeat atmosphere. So, workplace etiquette is important because it makes a first good impression, it creates proper atmosphere, it grows your opportunities, and creates a professional environment. So, you may be asking, why is workplace etiquette important? Your confidence and attitude are closely related to the way you carry yourself and encourage you to present your best self. Another reason, dressing professionally helps present a positive, poised attitude. By dressing professionally, you increase your credibility in interactions with coworkers, managers, customers, and the general public. Research indicates that those who dress appropriately are more confident and respected by their peers. And every industry sets standards for appropriate business and social conduct. So find out what that is. You can go and research that kind of thing today. All right, here's a quote I want to read by Mark Twain. Etiquette requires us to admire the human race. Okay, down to respect. All right, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on dress again, but I'll just read you a couple of things. And I think, most adults who have been working some time in their lives understand the importance of dressing properly. So when why dress codes matter, you're sending a message about where you position yourself and what you aspire to. This is from a quote from a career coach. It shows attention to detail, commitment, consistency. It shows that you are attempting to own your personal brand and how you show up in spaces. It also sends a clear message to the higher ups. The more you align yourself with signs and signals that want to take the next step in your career within that organization, the more that's going to be noticed by executives. So again, it is important to understand that. So I'm not going to go through all of this, what women should wear, what men should wear. You can find that kind of information, out there in public. So I'm not going to go through that right now. But I do want to talk about body language, three elements of nonverbal communication. So there's appearance, there's body language, and there's sounds. All right. So appearance, that we just said, individuals, clothing, hairstyle, neatness, use of cosmetics. And then when we talk about the another part of appearance, it's your surroundings, your room size, your lighting, decorations, furnishings. What does your office look like? Is it inviting? Okay. Body language, facial expressions, gestures, and posture, all part of body language. Sounds, the voice tone, the volume, and the speech rate, all connected to sound. So these three areas, appearance, body language, and sound, all parts of nonverbal communication. How we communicate is key. We communicate not only by what we say, but also what we don't say, at least not verbally. All right. So think about these three key pieces in appearance. You want to stand straight, you want to make eye contact while speaking or listening, and you want to turn towards someone while they are speaking. Very, very important stuff. Okay. Um, just a couple of resources that are probably national, but um, in the Philadelphia area, we have something called Career Link, which is our statewide workforce development system, and that they hold workshops on professionalism, appearance, workplace etiquette. But you might want to also check out this one site, careerwardrobe.org. All one word, careerwardrobe.org for more information. It has videos and tutorials on how to dress for success and a little bit more about image. So you want to take a look at that as well. Okay, let's talk about practicing workplace etiquette. So there's greetings and introductions. When meeting someone for the first time, firmly shake their hands, look them in the eye, and smile. And I talked just a minute about respecting personal space. When conversing with others, keep a comfortable physical distance away from them. Recognize that expectations for personal space vary throughout cultures. Now, I won't get into all of that right now, but there are certain cultures where being like pretty close to a person's face is considered normal, is considered professional. And in other cultures, like you need to be back a little bit. So you just have to learn, particularly if you're an international worker, what does this mean if I'm speaking or talking to somebody? Okay, more workplace etiquette. Punctuality. Send timely responses to emails. Arrive on time for all scheduled meetings, deadlines, and obligations. All right, so punctuality is just so key. You never know who's looking at the clock when you walk in the office or when you leave for the day, when you come back from a break, when you take 5 minutes to use the restroom. How long are you out actually away from your area or actually at your station? So be mindful of that. Certainly be mindful. Okay, let's talk about another area, conflict resolution. Handle contentions and disagreements privately and professionally. Actively listen to the other's perspective and work toward a compromise. All right, very critical. Email and correspondence. Make sure your emails are succinct and understandable. Use appropriate subject lines and greetings. And of course, I don't have to say this 1,000 times, but you want to have a very appropriate email address, something that's plain and simple and easy to remember. Not anything that's slangy, not anything that's trendy, but you want it to be something that people can easily access if they need to get in touch with you. Cell phone usage. Oof. Wow, this probably could take another whole process and program itself, but keep your phone on vibrate or silence during meetings. Avoid taking personal calls or texting during work activities. Walk out of the room, walk out of the space if you need to do that extensively. I mean, there are ways to do texting and other things on the phone without causing a ruckus in your area. But if you need to speak to somebody, you definitely should leave the area, unless you have a private office, which is always nice. Okay, so those are some basics, and I want to cover just a couple of other things here, some other quotes and sayings about professionalism. So, professionalism is a powerful quality. It allows you to fulfill your role to the best of your ability. It helps you to impress and inspire others, and it gives you a deep sense of satisfaction and self worth. So, why is professionalism important? It's one of the reasons. What's more, professionalism is something that everyone can aspire to from day one of their careers. As the saying goes, professionalism is not the job you do, it's how you do the job. Professionalism involves consistently achieving high standards, both visibly and behind the scenes, whatever role or profession you happen to be in. Okay? Some sectors, workplace, or roles have particular rules of professionalism. These may be explicit, such as an agreed upon dress code or a policy for using social media. Other rules and expectations may not be written down, but they can be just as important, such as what is regarded as professional behavior at meetings, or even how people personalize their desks. If you're new on the job, or new in the position, or new in the space, you need to really walk around and just kind of take a lay of the land. What's everybody else doing? How's everybody else positioning themselves? And you can sort of follow along. It pays to be observant and to ask for clarification if necessary. Fitting in is a big part of professionalism, as it's a way to show respect, attention to detail, and a commitment to upholding agreed upon practices and values. So, however, being true to yourself is just as important. True professionals don't follow rules mindlessly, and they know when and how to change norms. They're also flexible, and they find their own way to do things while still maintaining high standards. So again, you don't want to lose your sense of self, but you want to totally be aware of who you are. Okay? Here's some characteristics of professionalism. Competence. As a professional, you get the job done and done well. Knowledge. Professionalism involves developing detailed, up to date knowledge, which is often highly specialized. At every stage of your career, you can strive to master your role and keep adding to what you know. Consistent learning, perpetual learning. Conscientiousness. Professionalism involves being reliable, setting your own high standards, and showing that you care about every aspect of your job. But don't confuse conscientiousness with working longer hours than everyone else, or obsessing about details. True professionals plan and prioritize their work to keep it under control, and they don't let perfectionism hold them back. Integrity. Integrity is what keeps professional people true to their word. It also stops them from compromising their value. Respect. Professionalism means being a role model for politeness and good manners to everyone, not just those you need to impress. What's more, you show that you truly respect others by taking their needs into account and by helping to uphold their rights. Emotional intelligence, another topic that could have an entire 30-minute discussion on. So, to be a true professional, you need to stay professional even under pressure. This takes strategies for managing your emotions plus a clear awareness of other people's feelings. Sometimes professionalism means keeping your emotions in check, but at other times it's important to express your feelings in order to have meaningful conversations or to stand up for what you believe in. Appropriateness. A big part of being professional is knowing what's appropriate in different situations and in difficult situations. It avoids awkwardness and upset, boosts your credibility and helps you feel secure. Appropriateness related to outward appearances such as dress, body language, personal grooming. Confidence. Well founded confidence measures and motivates other people, boosting your ability to influence and lead. And how to exhibit professionalism? Improve your competence. Carry out a personal SWOT analysis to identify your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Increase your knowledge. Don't let your knowledge and skills get outdated. Make a commitment to build expertise and stay up to date in your industry. Be conscientious. Conscientious requires organization, so make use of a to-do list and action programs. Role model integrity. Start by defining your own values, then spot any gaps between them and the way you actually behave. Our guide to authenticity explains why this is a lifelong process. Promote mutual respect. Make it a habit to be polite and kind to everyone you come in contact with. This goes a very long way. We talked about emotional intelligence. Always behave appropriately. This takes cultural intelligence, driven by a commitment to respect cultural norms and thrive within different settings, which may be different countries, organizations, even different teams within a company. All right? Boost your confidence. If you put the advice from this article into action, you can be confident that your professionalism will shine through. And think about professionalism when you're working from home, if you have that opportunity. When you're working from home, many professional behaviors are as important as ever. All right? Professionalism involves consistently achieving high standards both in the work you do and the way you behave. Okay. And again, those were some characteristics about being professional. And it's so critical in today's marketplace, in today's work environment. You really, really need to be on your A game. Competition is fierce. People are out there doing things and getting promoted, and you need to just show that you are a team player. You have a sense of purpose, you have values, you have respect for the organization. So these are just all critical things around professionalism. So that was good. I was able to get through this in the 30 minutes. And so we're now coming to a conclusion. I just want you to know that this will be aired on the second and fourth Saturdays. I told you I come on the second and fourth Saturdays of the month from 11:30 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on WGGT LP at 92.9 FM or at gtownradio.com. All right, I will see you next time with another very important topic. Take care.